Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Thursday, January 30th, 2025. Stand up for your country. So very bad news last night, as you know. Air crash in D.C., Black Hawk helicopter and an American airliner. We're going to report the story to you. We have some late details, but it's being politicized already. That's not good. And fingers are being pointed. You know, it's what we do here in America. I don't particularly think it's a positive thing. We have to get to the bottom of it. I already know what happened, and I'll tell you in a moment. But the overarch for your life is this. Tomorrow is not assured. And people who stepped on that plane in Wichita, Kansas, had no thought that this was going to befall them. Because so rare. 16 years ago was the last fatal commercial airliner disaster. 16 years. You got much more chance to get wiped out on a highway in your car than you do in a plane. But tomorrow's not assured. And we all need to think about that, particularly if we're carrying a lot of karma debt. You don't want to get caught. All right, we'll do that story in the second block of the Talking Points memo. Deals with the war that has broken out between President Trump and the liberal establishment. 10 days. I knew this was going to happen. The Trump administration has to know what's going on. So everything that Donald Trump's going to try to do, and I mean everything, is going to be subjected to federal lawsuits. That's the plan. All right, that's the tactic. And Trump will win most of them, but he doesn't really care because if he loses, he can tell his people, I tried. You know, I promised you this. I tried to do it. And look at what the swamp is doing to me. But we have to deal with it as reality. So Guantanamo Bay is a perfect example. As you may know, I reported from there twice. When 680 jihadists were being held, 680, the height after the 9/11 attack, I was down there. And then I went back. Right now, 15 jihadists are there, the worst of the worst. And Obama tried to close it. Biden tried to close it. It's never going to be closed. So we got Guantanamo Bay in 1903. After the Spanish-American War, the United States needed a naval base in the Caribbean. Okay, you see it. It's on the very tip of Cuba. So we signed an unending lease. In perpetuity is the legal term. And it is the oldest naval base in history for the United States. And it's going to continue to go. Now, you would think, listening to the press, that this pledge by Donald Trump to put 30,000 migrants in Gitmo was some kind of aberration. Well, it's not. Both Bush the Elder and Bill Clinton put refugees, migrants, whatever you want to call them, in Guantanamo Bay. Did you know that? Hasn't been reported. And thousands of them. So the first wave, Bush the Elder, was Haitians trying to desperately get out, and the Coast Guard caught them in the Caribbean and Atlantic Ocean and put them in Guantanamo Bay. Eventually, they were repatriated back to Haiti. The second wave under Bill Clinton, Cubans, Castro. Cuba wouldn't take them back. So they, after a bit of time, were allowed to come to the United States, most of them, except the really bad ones. I don't know what happened to the Marielitos, the really bad ones. But anyway, this is not anything new, but you would think it was new if you rely on television news and the newspapers as your sources of information. Now, why is Donald Trump doing this? He wants to send a message. So he's been in office now 10 days, and migrant intrusions at the southern border are down 60%. Because he's sending a message. If you come here, you might wind up in Guantanamo Bay. It's as simple as that. That's why he's doing it. But the litigation, oh, you can't do it. You did this. You can't do that. Oh, no. He can do it. All right? So for the near future, the Trump administration will have that option. Maybe some crazy federal judge will block it, but then it'll go to the Supreme Court. The other one is a spending oversight. This is a mess. I can't explain it to you. Even I can't explain it to you. So Trump announces a pause in federal spending because he wants to take a look at all the money that's being wasted. No, they sue right away because Congress is the appropriations, according to the Constitution. They approve all federal spending. Congress, that's Senate and the House, not the president. So the lawsuit is, well, Donald Trump's usurping the power of president. No, he's not. He's just pausing it so he can get a handle on where the money's going. Perfectly legal. He should prevail in that. But a judge said, no, you got to pause, you pause. And now the Trump administration says, we didn't rescind anything. Who knows? It's just a mess. And this is why people hate Washington. However, the folks are, after 10 days, still with President Trump. Emerson College poll, fair sampling, male-female fair. First question, do you approve or disapprove of the job Donald Trump is doing as president after 10 days? All right, approve 49, disapprove 41. So the folks are on his side. That's a pretty good poll for Trump. Second question, would you say things in the USA today are generally headed in the right direction or wrong? Right direction, 52, wrong, 48. It's a little closer, obviously. So, again, Trump doesn't really care about all this litigation. He's going to do what he wants to do. And he's going to fulfill his campaign promises. And that's a memo. Okay, let's go to the plane crash. So as I said, this is the first one in 16 years. And it looks to me, full count, 64 dead. 60 passengers on the American Airlines aircraft from Wichita, Kansas to D.C. Reagan, and 3 Army soldiers on the Black Hawk helicopter. Apparently, they had a midair collision and everybody died. So it looks like the air traffic controllers would be responsible, right? That's the heavy odds are that air traffic control was at fault. But I think you give it a little time, a little pause, all right, to investigate and come up with what you can come up with. But right away, President Trump decided to politicize this. Go.
The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan. Think of that. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan. A group within the FAA, another story, determined that the workforce was too white. They actually came out with a directive, too white.
And the president went on to excoriate Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary under Joe Biden, who deserves it. Buttigieg, a horrible job. And anybody who goes to the airport knows it. Awful. No oversight on the airlines at all. Insane. But I would have waited a couple of days if I were President Trump. He's right. Almost every federal agency is infiltrated by diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that has dropped the performance level of the federal agencies because people are being hired on skin color and gender and all this stuff. And they shouldn't be. Get the best people. So he's right. But again, it doesn't look good to jump on this less than 24 hours after the 64 people died. 67 people now. All right, I got 64 people on board. Let me correct this. 64 people on the American Airlines jet and 3 soldiers, 67. The new Secretary of Transportation is Sean Duffy. And he was only in the office for a couple of hours before this happened. You can imagine. All right. This is personal to me because 39 years ago this month, one of my closest friends, ABC News correspondent Joe Spencer, was killed in a helicopter crash. He's out of Chicago. He was flying to Austin, Minnesota, cover a strike, labor strike, and it was bad weather. And Joseph and his producer, cameraman, and a pilot all were killed 39 years ago today. Not today, this month. Joe Spencer was 31 years old, recently married. You can imagine this. And there isn't a day goes by, I name my son Spencer, that I don't think about that. And what I think about is what I told you at the top of the program. Tomorrow is not assured for anyone. You got to live current. And if you have a debt to somebody, if you do something terrible, straighten that out. All right? And that Joe Spencer, I remember it like it was yesterday, every second of it. I heard it on the radio driving in to work at WCVB TV in Boston. And I was driving from downtown Boston out to Needham where the television station was located. And then it came on WBZ radio that Joe Spencer, ABC correspondent, I said, I pulled over, obviously. I couldn't believe it. 31 years old. Anyway, our sympathies, of course, for all the families affected by this terrible tragedy in D.C. President Trump's victory is a win for America. That's what most voters think. But Bidenomics has left us with a failing economy. I rely on American Hartford Gold to protect my savings with physical gold and silver, and you should consider that. American Hartford Gold has thousands of five-star ratings and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. A tax-advantaged gold IRA can shield you from worsening inflation. You can even roll over your 401k or IRA tax-free and penalty-free. So act now before it's too late. Call or text American Hartford Gold. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you for up to $15,000 of free silver on qualifying orders. Call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. That's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Okay, YouTube tonight, brand new commentary. We have our own YouTube channel. We want you to sign up if you would. YouTube.com/Bill O'Reilly, free. And I'm going to do how Joe Biden screwed this country up so badly that Trump is spending all of his time, 100% of his time, trying to unscrew what Biden did. And I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to lay them right out for you. It's incredible. So that's on YouTube tonight. Let's go to the Shelley on the message board. When I first began watching the No Spin News, I defended Robert Kennedy Jr. and hoped he would succeed in wherever President Trump wanted him to be. Now, after listening to you, O'Reilly, and doing a bit of research myself, I find myself in agreement that he should not be the head of the Department of Human Services. Okay, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think we've given Kennedy a fair hearing here. And we get mail on both sides. We got Matthew Tuttle saying, I have to disagree with you about RFK Jr. I think he's more than qualified to do the job. I saw you on Cuomo, and I just disagree. Okay, we like that. We like disagreement. We're not in this for choir practice here. We want to hear your point of view. Jeff Callan, Phoenix, Arizona. Bill, is it me, or was the White House explanation for the drones a lame non-answer? It was pretty lame. I got to say, it was pretty lame. We knew about his research. Research for what? Why would you put him up over New Jersey? What do you pizza? You research? What are you doing? It was pretty lame. You're right, Jeff. I'm not worried about it, though. If I were worried, then I take a more serious tone. Troy Lackey, Prineville, Oregon. I speculate that President Biden did not pardon Jill, so she can simply plead the Fifth Amendment if called in to testify. No, spouses can't testify against one another. It's illegal. So that's not the reason. No, Jill, you can't call Jill, talk about Jill, or Joe to talk about Jill. Michael Thomas, Damascus, Maryland. Toma. For Christmas, my wife surprised me with Killing the Witches and Killing the Killers. Already finished both, and I had previously read Killing Crazy Horse on the beach last summer. Now I'm going to buy the entire Killing series. Well, great. Go to our store. We got them all bundled. And, the ones that you read, you can give away for gifts. So you'll make some money on this deal. But buy, I'm glad. I'm glad you like those books. Sherry Adams, Pine Tops, North Carolina, as a former history teacher, fellow history teacher, because I taught history in high school. I want to thank you for your Killing series and Confronting the Presidents. They are great informational texts. Furthermore, I purchased 4 of them for my father for Christmas, and he has enjoyed reading them while going through chemotherapy. Sherry, we wish the best for your father. That's so hard, I know. My father had to go through it. But any relief you can give him in the form of books like that really helps. So you're a good daughter, and I'm happy to contribute there. Okay, we want you to pre-order our Not Woke hats. I know, we're shameless. So there they are. We're going to have them soon. Summer coming, spring coming. Not woke. I'd like to see a lot of you guys going to Super Bowl wearing the Not Woke hats instead of the Eagles or Chiefs. That would be great if we could have a whole section of the stadium in New Orleans with Not Woke. We got shirts and we got mugs. We got everything. So let's spread the word. We're not woke. We don't like woke. Word of the day, Visigoth. Visigoth. Don't be a Visigoth. It's an interesting word with some history. When writing to me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town, please, if you wish to opine. Back with a final thought in a moment. Many of us are trying to get our finances in order to start the new year right. And that's great news for homeowners. Interest rates have dropped and are now in the 5s. So if you've been burned with high interest rate credit card debt, it's time to break free. American Financing can help you access the cash in your home to pay off your high interest debt. Last year, their salary-based mortgage consultants helped customers save an average of $800 a month. That's like giving yourself a $10,000 raise. What a way to start the new year. And if you begin today, you may be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So please call American Financing today, 800-906-2440. That's 800-906-2440. AmericanFinancing.net. When your personal safety is threatened, you have a right to defend yourself, but it's your responsibility to do so wisely. You may want to reach right for your firearm, but many legal experts say that should be your last resort. Consider a tool that empowers you to de-escalate threats without taking a life. Byrna is a less lethal self-defense weapon with tear gas and kinetic impact ammunition. Its formidable power can stop a threat in its tracks. It's the difference between ending a confrontation and starting a tragedy. Made in the heart of America, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Byrna is a symbol of strength and a beacon of responsibility. It's legal in all 50 states, no background checks required, and they even ship straight to your doorstep. So visit Byrna.com/Bill for an exclusive 10% discount. That's BYRNA.com/Bill.
Byrna products cannot be legally purchased or used in New York City or Yonkers. Byrna's pepper-based or tear gas projectiles cannot be purchased or used in New York State. Certain other states and localities restrict the purchase or use of Byrna products. Please check the law in your own state or municipality and any area you plan to travel to or through while carrying or possessing a Byrna product. For more information regarding restricted markets, please go to Byrna.com.
So here is the final thought of the day. I don't walk around going, I'm an icon. I think that's pretty pretentious and ridiculous. I'm just a regular guy. And if you were to run into any of my friends, they would tell you that. And then they would make fun of me. Now, we have been on Jeopardy as a question 12 times because Alex Trebek and I had a very good relationship. What a good guy he was. And again last night, they had a question about me, your humble correspondent. Roll it.
Which Bill 1200?
This is it. We're on live in the no spin zone. It's a nightmare place for charlatans and deceivers. Roy.
Who's Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, it takes us back.
All right. Excellent. And he knew. So why is this important? It's not. It's not. But what is interesting is that we've created something in America that is impossible to duplicate. And we have reached iconic status with this no spin concept. And then everything that goes along with it. So we're looking out for you, not woke, stand up for your country. And it's always one theme: tell the truth, get the truth out, no matter where it is. If you analyze the program that you just watched or listened to on the radio, you'll see that I criticize both political parties because they make mistakes. We're not zombies here. I did a zombies and zealots thing a couple of weeks ago. We are purveyors of the truth. That sounds kind of, he thinks, but we apply a lot of discipline to this, okay? So I got a letter from a concierge member today. We had a problem, and we have a really good staff now. We're trained, and we're like EMS. So you get a problem, you call us if you're a concierge member, and we send somebody out to fix it. Not literally, but we'll fix it. But the person was, in addition to their problems, saying, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. They were criticizing somebody, but they were doing whataboutism. Now, whataboutism is a contagion. So you can't get to the truth of any subject because whoever you're quizzing will go, well, what about Biden? So if you're criticizing Trump, the defense isn't, well, Trump is right and your criticism is wrong. They don't bother with that. They go, well, what about Biden? No, that's not the way we do it. Everybody else does it that way. That's fifth grade. I remember in fifth grade, Sister Carolyn, and she caught me throwing an apple at a girl. And I did. I don't know why I did, and it was a little apple. That wasn't a big, brawny apple. It was a little apple. And the girl objected to me hitting her with an apple. And that was a legitimate objection. So the nun, of course, overreacted because that's what nuns live for. They live for that. And she runs up to me. And I'm like defenseless. And I don't lie. Did you hit her with an apple? I said, yeah, I did. I was going to do some wise guy line about Adam and Eve and the apple, but I said, no, maybe I'll just throw myself on the mercy of the court. Forget it. I got whacked. And that nun would be charged with a felony today. But in my defense, after I got whacked, I said, wait a minute, you're whacking me, but what about Bruno Klein doing whatever Bruno did was 10 times worse than me? That's fifth grade. And in fifth grade, you can get away with that, okay? But not in real life. Yet, that's what we see. And not only do we see it from stupid media people, but we see it from the federal government. All right, we see it from, people in tremendous power positions. They block any criticism, legitimate criticism, by saying, well, look at that over there. You know who does it all the time? Putin, one of the most evil men on earth. Putin does that every time you confront him. Well, why'd you assassinate 35 journalists? Don't look at me. China kills 50,000 of them. It's like, what? So anyway, I don't even know how I got here off this Jeopardy stuff, but I wanted to make that point for the last 2 weeks that we will not tolerate whataboutism, and we like Jeopardy, and we are icons, and we're proud of being icons. We worked hard to earn the status. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.